Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. This is a B2 level grammar lesson, and today we're going to be reviewing defining and non-defining relative clauses. So there's always a solution. In the 21st century, it's possible to feel down about the future. At times, the future seems depressing. Even though there are problems ahead, remember that humans have always been inventive. We have found answers to problems in the past and will continue to find answers to new problems. The most important thing to remember is stay positive. So, on a scale from 1 to 10, how likely are we to solve the problems of our society today? And you can put your thoughts in the comments. Remember how far we've come. Humans have always been able to invent, find solutions, and resolve problems. Make some logical sentences from the two halves. You can pause the video, try this on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. Okay, so number one, researchers have invented drugs. That matches with letter F, that can cure many diseases. There are stores, and that matches with C, where you can buy thousands of items. Computers now do many tasks. That matches with D, that save us a lot of time. There are new plastic materials, matches with A, which are biodegradable and do not last forever. We have invented vehicles, B, that take us to every corner of the globe. And there are educated young people, E, who are going to make the world better. We are now developing ways to deal with plastic pollution. So read the introduction to the article and answer the questions. You can pause the video, try this on your own, and then restart when you're ready to continue, or you can follow along as I read. Did you know that almost every piece of plastic ever made still exists in some shape or form today? Because most plastic doesn't biodegrade, it stays with us forever, and most of it is in landfills scattered across landscapes or drifting in the sea, where it is harming millions of marine animals. The good news is that people are becoming more informed about this problem, and some are taking steps to fix it. Let's take a look at some inventions that are currently being developed. So on the previous slide, you made sentences that contained relative clauses. And on this side, the relative clause is in bold. Relative clauses introduce information about a noun or a noun clause. In the relative clause above, which noun does that refer to? So there are defining relative clauses and non-defining relative clauses. First, let's review defining relative clauses. Defining relative clauses provide essential information about a noun. She is a person who will become a famous scientist one day. Hassan ate the pizza that was on the table. If the relative defining clause describes a thing, we can use which or that. So there will be a plane that can fly nonstop from London to Auckland. There will be a plane which can fly nonstop from London to Auckland. If the defining relative clause describes a person, we can use who or that. Simone is a student who has a very bright future, or Simone is a student that has a very bright future. Alright, so now you can pause the video and complete each relative clause with who, which, or that, and in all cases there are two answers that are possible. And then you can restart the video when you are ready to check your answers. So every year there are new inventions, either that or which, are changing the way we live. In some cities, there is public transportation, that or which is driven entirely by computers. There is a new generation of people who or that work from home or remotely. Many new products are made that or which contained recycled materials. There are millions of people who or that use English every day for work and their studies. People are inventing machines that or which will help create a cleaner planet. Around the world, there are millions of young people who or that are prepared to fight climate change seriously, and she is the scientist who or that discovered the vaccine. Now read the next part of the article, which describes two inventions that will improve our planet. We have a vocabulary word before we read. Biofuel is fuel from recently lifeless or living biological material. Fossil fuel is fuel from biological material that has been dead for a long time. So you can pause the video and read on your own, or you can follow along as I read. Converting plastic into oil. An Australian company has created a machine that can melt plastics into liquid fuel. If successful, this would be a great way to turn waste into valuable biofuels. Plant-based biodegradable plastic. In Indonesia, an entrepreneur has developed a material from cassava plants, which is compostable. It breaks down in just a few months without leaving behind anything toxic. It has already replaced more than 3 tons of plastic. So now find one example of a defining and a non-defining relative clause. So here, a machine that can melt plastics into liquid fuel, defining clause. And then which is compostable is a non-defining relative clause. Okay, we're going to look at non-defining relative clauses later in this lesson. A defining relative clause can be used to give more information about something. So look at how the relative pronoun joins the two sentences. There is a girl in my class. The girl in my class can speak 3 languages. Or you can join those two sentences together. There is a girl in my class who can speak 3 languages. The word who joins the two clauses. The second clause gives more details about the girl. So now, pause the video and make a sentence with a defining relative clause. You can pause the video, try this on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. So this is an invention. You can say either that or which will save many lives. Scientists have developed a product, that or which breaks down plastic completely. This is the woman who or that invented a new way to recycle plastic bags. And Tony is a young man who or that will grow up to be a famous scientist. Now read the next part of the article, which describes 2 inventions that will improve our planet. First, there are a couple of vocabulary words. Mutant is a change or alteration, and an enzyme is a substance that brings about a certain reaction. Enzyme that breaks down plastics. In Japan, a team of researchers discovered a mutant enzyme that can break down hard plastic in days, a process that typically takes hundreds of years. Although it doesn't break the plastic down completely, it breaks it down enough that it is able to be recycled, eliminating plastic in the ocean. In the Netherlands, a young inventor has developed a plan to clear out the trash in the ocean. His model is being tested. If successful, it will help to rid the ocean of 50% of its plastic. Although we are still more reliant on plastic than ever before, there are some promising solutions in the works. In the meantime, we need to do our part to help the environment and limit our plastic use. So where is the defining relative clause? discovered a mutant enzyme that can break down hard plastic in days? A non-defining relative clause provides non-essential information. So make some sentences containing a non-defining relative clauses. You want to insert the second sentence into the first sentence as extra information. And here's an example. That woman is an important scientist. That woman works at the university. That woman who works at the university is an important scientist. And remember that we use who or which in non-defining relative clauses. So go ahead and pause the video, try that on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. Okay, number 1, this book, which was written by an 18-year-old, was published last year. His invention, which is used in many countries, has earned him millions of dollars. Number 3, my sister, who works in Oslo, is a very talented musician. My level of English, which was low last year, is improving every month. That movie, which was filmed in Istanbul, won many awards. My mother, who is a lawyer, is a very talented painter. My phone, which I bought last week, has already stopped working. Okay, Elijah talks about a solar-powered road. So you're going to put his words in order. If you want to pause the video and read these first, and then restart and listen, and then you can put the sentences in order.
Can you imagine a world where our roads could use the energy from the sun and convert it to electricity to power traffic lights, households, and electric vehicles? Well, that world exists, and we're living in it. In 2010, a few companies came together to develop SolarRoad, a technology that can gather solar energy from road pavements. In a town near Amsterdam, this technology was tested in 2014 at the opening of the world's first solar bike path. The solar panels were embedded in the path, and the road produced more energy than expected, enough to power 3 single-person households for a year, and the test was considered a success. Since then, more roads have been built in the Netherlands and France. The technology is continuously being improved, and it has the potential to make a serious contribution to sustainable energy production.
So the order is letter B is number 1, letter E is number 2, D is, C is 3, 4, and 5. So Elijah is excited about SolarRoad, so skim the text and answer the questions, and then you can listen to him. Find the 2 defining clauses. One defining clause is introduced by a word other than who, which, or that. So see if you can find that just quickly by skimming, and then we'll listen.
Can you imagine a world where our roads could use the energy from the sun and convert it to electricity to power traffic lights, households, and electric vehicles? Well, that world exists, and we're living in it. In 2010, a few companies came together to develop SolarRoad, a technology that can gather solar energy from road pavements. In a town near Amsterdam, this technology was tested in 2014 at the opening of the world's first solar bike path. The solar panels were embedded in the path, and the road produced more energy than expected, enough to power 3 single-person households for a year, and the test was considered a success. Since then, more roads have been built in the Netherlands and France. The technology is continuously being improved, and it has the potential to make a serious contribution to sustainable energy production.
Okay, so where our roads could use the energy from the sun, that's the defining clause that doesn't begin with who, which, or that. It begins with where. And then the other defining clause is that can gather solar energy from road pavements. So where, when, and whose can be used to introduce relative clauses. Where is used for a place. Here's the school, my neighbor's children go there. Here's the school where my neighbor's children go. I want to show you the village. I grew up in that village. I want to show you the village where I grew up. You need to pay attention to where because it can replace there or a preposition plus a noun. We use when for time. I'm stressed at this time. I study for my exams each night. I'm stressed when I study for my exams. And we use whose to show possession. There is a boy in my class. His mother is a well-known scientist. There is a boy in my class whose mother is a well-known scientist. Now practice where, when, and whose. So complete each relative clause with the where, when, or whose. You can pause the video, try these on your own, and then restart when you are ready to check your answers. Okay, it's a day when we remember the people who served in the war. Is this the street where the Shorten family bought a house? The man whose car is parked outside is standing by the coffee machine. This is a period of your life when you need to take your studies seriously. Hey, I can't remember the cafe where we are meeting tonight for dinner. Can you remind me? If you need sporting goods, go to the fast store. It's a place where you can find everything. The Neolithic age began about 12,000 years ago. It's a time when humans started to grow food. Isn't that the man whose son is living in South Africa? They are the parents whose child I complained about to the school principal last week. And do you know when the trash will be collected? Now listen to the end of the recording and answer the question. Elijah uses two relative clauses. What are they? And the hint is that both clauses are introduced by that.
The main challenge is the cost. Roads that generate electricity are much more expensive than conventional roadways. But fortunately, Solo Road is not the only company that is working on this type of project. With a lot of enthusiasm and intelligent minds working together, we shouldn't be surprised to see more solar-powered roads in the near future. At least I'm hoping for it.
Okay, so then let's see. Roads that generate electricity. That's the first defining clause. And Solar Road is not the only company that is working on this type of project. So those are the two clauses. Okay, if the sentence is bold, make a defining relative clause. And if the sentence is in italics, make a non-defining relative clause. And you may need to make other changes to the words in the original sentences. And here's an example. Mike is David's younger brother. Mike works in London. Mike, who works in London, is David's younger brother. Okay, so go ahead and try those on your own and then restart when you're ready to see the answers. So number one, Tony, who used to live next door, teaches dance at a school in the city. I finished the book that or which you lent me last year. Her book, which was published late last year, was a huge success. The woman whose car was stolen is upset. I can't remember the place where I left my wallet. Her brothers, who went to the wedding last year, all speak Hindi. Sally, whose children are studying at university, is a really successful businesswoman. Relative clauses are a part of grammar that or which allows you to express yourself better with native speakers. Now You do not always have to include who, that, or which in a defining relative clause. Look at these defining clauses, they are all correct. This is the product that he invented, or this is the product he invented. My mother loved the gift that I bought. My mother loved the gift I bought. There's the man who met me yesterday. There's that man we met yesterday. In each case, who and that refer to the object of the clause. If who, that, or which refer to the object of a defining relative clause, you can omit who, that, or which. You cannot take out who, that, or which if they refer to the subject of the clause. The boy who stole the car was a student at the school. So you can't say the boy stole the car was a student at the school. Here, the boy is the subject, and who stole the car refers to the subject, so you cannot leave out who. Alright, so look at each statement. Is the relative pronoun the subject or the object of a defining or non-defining defining clause? The book that I was reading was very interesting. So this is a defining clause. That is the object of the clause. Therefore, we can remove that and say the book I was reading was very interesting. Alright, so go ahead and see if you can try these on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. Okay, she is the girl who stole money from the bank, so you cannot leave out who. It's not possible, because she is the subject and the who is referring to she. That's the boy I invited to the party. So you can leave out who because boy is the object. We went to the town Brian recommended. So again, town is the object, so we can leave out that. She has a son who is a doctor. Son is the object, so you cannot leave out the who. The hospital that Sally works in is in the center of town. The hospital Sally works in, so you can leave out that because hospital is the subject. The man who used to live there moved out recently. You cannot leave out who. Edward, who failed the test on Friday, has to do it again next week. Again, you cannot leave out who. The apples we ate last week were delicious. You can leave out that because apples is the subject. The boy who lives at number 39 is my friend. You cannot leave out who. The police officer who spoke to you is very helpful. Again, you can't leave out who in this one. And can you please give this to the woman who is wearing the green shirt? They say this one is not possible, but I think you could say, could you please give this to the woman wearing the green shirt? I think that one is possible. Alright, and that brings us to the end of today's video. Please like, subscribe, share, participate in the comments, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.